wife said, if you win, we'll fly to Asia. If I win, we'll fly to Paris. I bet you won't get toned with just Tai Chi walking before Christmas. Guess who won?
My dad can't lose weight with Tai Chi, so it's a scam.
Professor Dodges, I teach religion and Final Fantasy at University of Alabama, and we have a good time here on the street.
A comedy of errors, everybody. How we doing tonight? And we've got some Dragon Quest. Boom, right there. How about there they are in all their glory. And maybe you can hear them. I don't know. What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Oh my gosh. Happy freaking New Year. I hope that you're doing great in the new year. Let's get some lighting behind us. Want to? That'll be fun. Let's do some of that. Oh, that's bright. Let's do something a little bit more vaporwave. Oh, I'm a real gamer now. Thank you so much for the resub, Amy. Oh my gosh, 24 months, 2 years? Holy crap. You're like a little toddler. Just a little toddler teetle-toddling over into Prof Noctis's Twitch stream. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it's been 2 years? John Q Gamer over on YouTube. What's up? What's up? Happy New Year to you. Look at this weird, like, sunset Stranger Things vibe behind me going on. I love it. What's up, Angelus? I hope you had an amazing Christmas. I hope you had a Happy New Year as well. Hope everybody's doing great. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited for a new year. I'm excited to be back and to be doing this again. Excited for Dragon Quest and my future Final Fantasy VII content. Oh, y'all, I've got so much planned. So much planned. And I'm going to let you guys be the first ones to know. I've got a full video coming out about this next week. But, it's not a big video, it's just a trailer video. But, 2026 is year of Final Fantasy VII. It is the year of Final Fantasy VII. Not just the month. Not just the lead up of marketing. It is the year of Final Fantasy VII. Because it is quite possibly the last year that we have, the full year, last full year that we have, to enjoy the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy before it's completed. And I was like, you know what? I got other plans. I'd love to play some other games, but I'm going to have to do that in my spare time because you only live once and you only Final Fantasy VII Remake once. I was about to say you only Final Fantasy VII once, but that's not true. Boy, that's not true. Final Fantasy VII got legs. 30-year legs. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the follow. Stefanta Baby? Stefanta Baby? I love that. It's a great name. And thank you, Big G, for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's all going to be Final Fantasy VII. We're going to actually start that next week. But this year I'm going to be playing some OG Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to be doing some Final Fantasy VII Remake to invite all of the Switch and Xbox players in. Oh man, the chat is so bonkers down there. Look, oh my god. And if I make it too small, are you kidding me? I leave for like a month and my computer says, bump that. You thought. That's silly. Let's see if I can fix this for the good of the order here. Okay, so we're gonna bring the width down. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I just need the width really down. There. Okay, sliding in. Oh, I know this is riveting content. Riveting. And we're also going to bring this down a little bit. Maybe to about, I don't know. Actually, that's maybe about 800. And then I'm going to maximize it so you can actually read that nonsense. What you say is not nonsense, but Okay, I think that may work. Riveting. Like I said. Actually, well, let's bounce you down to 400. And let's bounce you down to 600. And now let's enlarge it again. Enhance. Enhance. Actually, that's what we need to do. I am such a professional at this. Gosh. Somebody hire me for all of your tech needs. You know what I'm saying? Hire me already. Any of my computer science students that ever hop in here, they're always like, oh my gosh, Wade, you need like help. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay. Take 2, as though nothing happened. Okay. Amy says, Cody may have posted a picture from the studio, we hope. Okay. Some of my crazy detectives on Twitter that I guess they just know these things. I don't know these things. But they're like, it's the same studio that Bree was in. Or Britt Barron was in to do the voice acting for Rebirth. I'm like, well, keep hope alive. 2027 is the year of Final Fantasy VII Dreams. Final Fantasy VII Dreamake, more like. So that's what we're about. Final Fantasy VII Year of Dreamakes. Because all of our dreams are going to come true. Prof is on the Part 3 coming out in 2027 bandwagon. I am, brother. Listen, because it's Final Fantasy 2027, Final Fantasy 35th anniversary? Is that right? Or maybe it's the 30th. Wait, don't be an idiot. Yeah, it's the 30th. 97 to 27, 30th. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got to come out on the 30th anniversary, right? They're not going to screw that up. I do think it's going to be in the fall, the holiday season, rather than early in the year. But it's amazing to talk about this while the Dragon Quest music is blaring. So let me tell you a little bit about more of the content I'm going to be doing, though you're going to get a little bit of some thoughts on this next week. OG Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII Remake. A whole new set of commentary lectures, maybe. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core you're getting from me this year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this year, and if I can find a way to do it, we'll play freaking Dirge of Cerberus as well. I just gotta find the way to do it. And I will, because where there's a will, there's a Wade. And it's the year of Dreamakes. So, making dreams come alive. That's what we're about. How cool are those side-by-side that Square is going for in the OG7 and the remake? Yeah, those are pretty rad. Let me show you a little clip of some things that I've been trying to do. Just give you a preview of maybe where we're going in the old future. Let me get over to the live screen real quick. Is this going to screw up? Of course it is. Oh, and there's Sing 40 Laughter. Let's just hide you real quick. Boom, and let's bring back the Switch for a second. Oh, that's going to look so pretty when we start playing that. It's going to be so good. Man, my colors are popping tonight. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Ninja, move over. What is this? What is this? These are such pleasing colors behind me. I don't even know. Very Dragon Questy. Very gamery, you know. That's good. Yeah, let me show you some good stuff that I've been working on. How do I do this? Oh, like this. Good. So yeah, one of the things you may be like, oh, Wade, you have done some Final Fantasy VII content before. So what's going to make this one different? Well, let me show you. Because I am going to do segments that look a little bit more exciting. So if you haven't seen this on my Twitter, And this is the sort of thing that we're going to be getting into. Let's just silence that. And this is pretty cool. I don't even think you can hear this. That's okay, you don't need to hear it. But we're going to be doing some side-by-sides. That's me in the bottom corner. You're just watching a video of me right now. You can hear me still, so that's exciting. Yeah, this is kind of what I want. I want to be able to do some side-by-side sort of stuff. I think that would be pretty hype, pretty fun. And so that's one goal. And I want to do kind of like a compare and contrast, but also to kind of play around with it. This is pretty neat. So you're going to be able to see some of that as soon as wow, that's a cool shot there. So we're very excited. But we've got to be super welcoming to the new people, you know? We got to be super welcoming to all of the new Final Fantasy VII gamers. Oh my gosh, Sing for the Laughter is still going, always in the background. And let's enlarge that. It's kind of like, chat, I don't know how many of you also stream, but one of the things that I've learned about streaming that's just so fun is that if I take a break for a few weeks, then my computer says, we feel neglected, and we're gonna get it back at him. And it's like, let's just change some settings. Like all of the video dimensions that he had, let's screw that up because like he hates us. And it's like Streamlabs is kind of like having a cat that loves you and hates you, but really, really just wants to end you. That's how I would describe Streamlabs. Because like, if I neglect Streamlabs for even a little bit, it's going to make me pay it. It's going to start shoving mugs and clocks and things off of my shelves. And then I come back and it's like, what did you do to my house? Is your computer saying too much is happening at once? No, it's not. It's not saying that. It's actually not saying that. Why do you ask? Am I pixelated? Am I like... It weirdly is not saying that for like the first time ever. Go figure. Oh my gosh, look at that. The chat screwed up again. What is happening, Streamlabs? It's like, it is a cat that is just pissed off at me. Like, it is just mad. There was some rubber banding. I don't have a notification for that. So maybe. I don't know. What's up, Jeffrey? Welcome in. All right, so tonight we've got 3 things on the docket, okay? If this is your first time in or your first time in a while, hey, welcome in. Good to see you again, or nice to meet you. I'm Professor Noctis. I teach at the University of Alabama, and I use video games in almost all of my classes. And I am here live streaming because it's an exciting time. I am the newest Dragon Quest fan, as proven by my mug, cred, and my shirt. I'm really trying to act the part because I love Dragon Quest now. Having played Dragon Quest 1 and 2 and 3 HD 2D, I can call myself a fan. And I went to Dragon Quest Island in Japan. So Streamlabs is chewing the Christmas tree like, honestly. I'll try YouTube to see if it's more stable on your connection. Oh man. Love Struck hockey player. Yeah. So tonight I'm going to be doing 3 things. This is our syllabus. I'm going to be reacting to Night Sky Prince and his latest video because I feel like I have to. It's on Final Fantasy Versus 13, which we know better as Final Fantasy 15 because I'm Final Fantasy 15's biggest fan. Probably. So we're going to begin the night by watching some of that, and I'm going to react to it. I don't know as much about Versus 13 as I do 15, obviously. 15 is the game that made me a doctor. My dissertation is on the shelf right back there, but we're gonna get into some of that tonight. I'm really eager to see what he has to say. Ryan and I come to Final Fantasy 15 from very different angles. He likes some of it. I love all of it. So that's it. Why are we still talking about Versus 13? Because, you know, here's the thing. Like, as the great scholar and sage Sheryl Crow once said, the first cut is the deepest. And for many Final Fantasy fans, Versus 13 was the first heartbreak they ever had. And I'm going to include Ryan in that. I actually think that Night Sky Prince himself, his first real heartbreak in life was when Final Fantasy Versus 13 became Final Fantasy 15. You tell him I said that. If any of you are in his community, you tell him I said that. He'll love that. Okay, with that, why don't we go ahead and maybe watch his thing. We'll go ahead and get into it. Yes, Big G, the super cool LED Dragon Quest light in my background. In fact, I'm going to bring that up to the forefront. You can see it like right up there. I'm gonna show you that in just a second. But first, I'm gonna pull up this thing. I'm someone who loves FF15 warts and all. That's the best way to be, brother. Like, I'm telling you. Like, that's what we love. That's what we love. We love our flawed masterpieces, don't we? We do. Okay, so now I'm going to click on these. And we're going to back that up. Oh, you hear him. You hear him already. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. And now we're there. And now I'm going to be such a professional right now. It's going to be so good. And we are being so professional and so brave. Oh, look how brave we are. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's going to be so good. So now I've got that up. And let's begin watching. Okay. Now I'll tell you, I have not watched this, and so if he starts Final Fantasy 15 slander, my brothers and my sisters, he's going to get a strongly worded letter. No, we're good. We have fun talking a little bit about our different opinions on Final Fantasy 15 for sure. Let me try to get this so it's angled a little bit better for everybody to see. Enhance your viewing experience and all that. Yeah, I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but you know what? You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's what we learned from Daniel Tiger, right? So far, we've had a Sheryl Crow reference. We've had a Daniel Tiger reference. What will come next? Okay, let's get to it and watch. Hang on. Y'all are going to want some sound. Boom. And let me turn that up. And I'm also going to be so good to you. I don't usually watch things with closed captions, but for you, I will, because I am never say I never did anything for you, because your prof just did this for you. Okay, let's try again.
Despite being a canceled game, Final Fantasy Versus 13 remains one of the most influential and talked about concepts in modern gaming. The potential revealed in its haunting trailers has left not only a mark on fans, but it has also influenced every single one of Tetsuya Nomura's upcoming games. Its DNA can be felt in games developed both inside and occasionally even outside of the company, and its troubled development reshaped how Square approached major titles going forward. Even now, the the spirit of Versus 13 lives on most visibly in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
A game
Oh
that
god,
is
that
going
game
to be
does
built
look.
directly from its discarded ideas.
That game
And
looks
above
just like
all,
Versus.
There's still one undeniable truth. People still want this game. Yes, partially out of what we imagined this game would be, but also seeing Nomuna's continued passion for these concepts. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button as we are trying to reach 110,000 subscribers. As I tell
Everybody go right now, like and subscribe on this video. Do our friend Ryan a big favor.
you the story of how Final Fantasy Versus 13 became immortal. The visual appeal of Final Fantasy Versus 13 can be traced back far before its announcement in 2006. It goes back as far as 2001's Kingdom Hearts secret movie, Another Side, Another Story. Later expanded in the deep dive cut of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, this pre-rendered cinematic showed a modern city set at night, as men dressed in black clashed keyblades, while running down buildings and performing impossible feats. The atmosphere in these cinematics was dark and moody, in a way that nothing in the main game of Kingdom Hearts was, save for maybe Hollow Bastion. These would become the core components of Nomuna's influence over the next decade. The evolution of this aesthetic would then be directly seen in Nomuna's two upcoming projects in 2005, Kingdom Hearts 2 and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Kingdom Hearts 2 featured Sora, the cheerful boy who was originally dressed in red and white, was now sporting a brand new black outfit. This was accompanied by a dozen new characters wearing the iconic black leather organization cloaks and a significantly increased emphasis on cinematic fight choreography. Returning character Cloud Strife would also be wearing his Advent Children outfit, a design that traded in his traditional soldier costume, which is usually depicted as blue or purple, for black clothes that felt way more grounded in realistic high fashion. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is really where we see Nomura commit to this blueprint for Final Fantasy Versus 13. The fight choreography was out of this world, and is something that filmmakers draw inspiration from even today. Cloud, famous for using his single giant kitchen knife, would now have an entire suite of swords to use in the form of the Fusion Sword. The Fusion Sword was a modular weapon that would break apart and fuse back into a single blade, which practically speaking makes absolutely no sense. However, it is cool as hell. The most impressive use of this, however, is in the updated version of Omni Slash used to defeat Sephiroth. This featured the Fusion Sword breaking into individual blades and floating around him as Cloud warps between them and slices through.
That's a pretty interesting point. The fusion blade is breaks into a bunch of different swords, and it becomes the tools by which Cloud uses a new version of Omni Slash on Sephiroth. That's kind of an interesting sort of thing. Now, let me say this: like, thus far, we're only like 3 minutes in, but I will tell you right now, I think that he's absolutely right on this. I think that the Versus 13 influence is seen so much in Kingdom Hearts and certainly in Advent Children. So you see Nomura's influence and inspiration and desire to create a game with that kind of aesthetic, especially in the redesigned models of the Final Fantasy VII cast with Advent Children. He really, really wants to tell that story in the large skyscrapers and all that stuff. So, like, we are still, if anybody says they want to see Versus 13, well, to a degree we are getting it. Yeah, there's Virum Rex. That is absolutely the case. Because Virum Rex in Kingdom Hearts 3, as soon as I was playing that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is Versus 13. And there are such cool things about Versus 13, don't get me wrong. I just happen to love Final Fantasy 15. So, Smith, this is like talking about the apocalyptic literature and apocryphal gospels. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Very much a what-if scenario sort of thing. Okay, let's continue. I'll shut up.
Sephiroth at high speed. As a teenager watching this for the first time, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and this style of combat would serve as the foundation for Final Fantasy Versus 13. Nomura's version of Unlimited Blade Works can also be seen in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix's Secret Movie. This visual aesthetic of a character warping around with dozens of floating swords he could command on a
Chad, I need some help here. I have played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. I avoided all the fractions, the mobile games, all that stuff. What is the Secret Movie? What is this? I did not platinum these games either. I beat them all, but 1, 2, and 3. But like, what is that? If you can fill me in the chat, that'd be great.
whim became a core premise for Final Fantasy Versus 13. At this time, in 2005, Nomura's aesthetic was at a peak in popularity. And more than just his aesthetic for characters, it was also debatably a personal fashion choice. But to talk about why these aesthetics
Oh my gosh. Let's go back. I've got to see that again. I got to see that again.
also
Can we just appreciate Tetsuya Nomura's very Noctis style here? I didn't know they sold Noctis style capri pants, but apparently they do. That's amazing. That is awesome. I love that. Well, Farthers, if you can explain it, let me know.
debatably a personal fashion choice.
That's funny.
But to talk about why these aesthetics were so popular at the time, we also have to talk about what was happening culturally during this period. Yes, that is to say, emo. Emo was everywhere during this period, dominating
How many of you were emo, chat? Be honest.
the global zeitgeist and was a huge departure from the bright pop-centric aesthetics of the 90s. This movement also aligned perfectly with Visual Kei in Japan, which, although definitely distinct from emo, had a lot of overlap in taste and
Genesis?
aesthetic, with a focus on things like striking hair and gothic like all-black fashion. It's clear that Nomura was probably pulling more from Visual Kei than he was emo, but considering that both of these movements were very strong at the same time and the overlap was there, it was very easy for the cross-pollination to happen, and it created the perfect storm for Nomura's visuals to have a tremendous global appeal. What few people know is that Noctis was
We never, okay, so real talk. I never went through an emo phase. I was always a little too blonde to really be that emo. And I had a surfer phase instead. So I feel like you were emo or surfers, and I was kind of on that end. But I did have friends that went through the emo phase, and we all just kind of hung out together, and they were like, huh, surfers and emos. That's fun. Okay, too old for emo at that time. Yeah, it was a little bit younger than me too. But yeah.
originally not designed for Final Fantasy Versus 13, revealed in the Final Fantasy 13 Ultimania Omega. Initially, the development team had drafted a male protagonist for what would become Final Fantasy 13. Nomura had already begun sketching this character when the direction shifted toward a female lead, the character that we now know.
Can you imagine if Final Fantasy 13 starred Noctis? Oh my gosh, that's interesting. I did not know that. That's cool. Makes sense with Versus 13, but
As Lightning. Rather than discarding the design that he had grown fond of, Nomura chose to repurpose him as the lead for Versus 13, with Nomura saying, quote, "To tell you the truth, before I even heard the details from the planning team, I had been drawing under the impression that the protagonist was going to be male. Once I heard it was actually a woman, I redrew it, but I really liked that first male character I had designed, so I decided to use him as the protagonist for Final Fantasy Versus 13. Symbolized in their names, there's an interesting dynamic here. One represents a flash of light in the sky, and the other one a light in the night sky. This also draws a direct contrast to Sora as well, whose name means sky in Japanese, a bit of information that will be very crucial later on. Most video games rely on internal concept artists to design costumes. However, Versus 13 would do something incredibly bold. Nomura would partner with Hiromu Takahata, the creative director of the Japanese
where did he get these? Can look at this. Noctis Prompto, and is that like an Arden-esque? That's so cool. Hey, Subtext, thank you so much. Also, welcome in. Thank you for the subtext. Oh man, I've got to reach out to him and ask him where this came from. That's cool.
Nomura would partner with Hiromu Takahata, the creative director of the Japanese
Oh my gosh, I need this cosplay. Like, not because I look anything like Noctis. I've got Sid in the closet, but like, it only makes sense. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry.
high fashion label Rowan. Him and Nomura seem to have a great relationship. So much so that he was featured in The World Ends With You as a fashion designer at the Black Honey Chili Cookie. The collaboration with Takahata was instrumental to achieving the types of designs that Nomura wanted. So much so that Square Enix actually commissioned physical versions of the characters' outfits to be tailored in real life. These physical garments were then used as primary reference for the in-game assets, and this helped make the visual appeal of Versus 13 distinct from the rest of the FF series. The Fabula Nova Crystallis project would be revealed at E3 2006, alongside Final Fantasy Versus 13. But the trailer most fans remember, the one with Noctis actually fighting the soldiers, was an extended cut released a year later. This version came on a DVD bundled with a magazine called Cloud Volume 1.
Chat, did you know, some of you know this, but in my obsession era of Final Fantasy 15, as though it hadn't ended, I bought an Audi black convertible that looked like the Regalia. And I remember I freaking loved that car. I drove it everywhere and I just cosplayed for life. And that was incredible. Funny story, actually. I was actually on a date and the car broke down and I handed my date the camera and she took a picture of me next to the car, just like Noctis, like this. It was hilarious. So anyway, just a little fun fact from Prof Noctis. The cosplay in the real life is real. So let's continue.
An art book magazine that focused on Nomura's upcoming works, which explains the cloud watermark that still sits in the corner of all those low-res YouTube uploads today. Going back and looking at the trailers for Final Fantasy Versus 13, you can tell what Final Fantasy 15 immediately lost in its conversion: the uncompromising dark mood. Nomura has always been a genius in terms of visual design, not just in terms of character design, but also in terms of movie direction. With him directing such
We did not push it to a gas station. I, unlike Noctis, had AAA and they came and got me. Oh, that was amazing. To do a Kingdom Hearts Lecture Play? Yeah, for real. I haven't done the side stuff. Did you start playing the song? You better believe I did, Ninja-kun. I'll find that picture. I'll show it to you in a second. Yeah.
Things as
okay, let's back up because I got distracted.
Genius in terms of visual design, not just in terms of character design, but also in terms of movie direction. With him directing such things as Final Fantasy VIII opening FMV, Advent Children, and the opening to the Kingdom Hearts games, he's a master of storytelling through visual symbolism. Each trailer for Final Fantasy Versus 13 managed to tell a very compelling story, a bond between a father and a son.
Gosh,
and him
those trailers were good.
Legacy. A heroine who both loved and was forced to fight against the protagonist. The boys going on an epic road trip. Any of these concepts would have been enough for a full game to focus on, and probably to great success. But Versus was going to have all of them as interwoven threads. First introducing
oh god, y'all can't
to
see
the
things
world
happening,
proposed,
can you?
Nothing
My
is
bad.
either
My
good or
bad.
bad, but thinking makes it so. Final Fantasy Versus 13 made its ambitions clear. It wanted to break away from good versus evil frameworks. It wanted to present itself as a Shakespearean tragedy wrapped in a modern fantasy aesthetic. A game that you knew could only end bittersweet. A story where the hero's victory did not feel guaranteed if we were the heroes in the first place and not just the villain in someone else's tale. There is also the brilliance of Yoko Shimomura's music that scores all of the trailers as well as the final game of 15 that was unlike anything we've heard from Final Fantasy or perhaps even video video games in general. Her composition Somnus in particular encapsulated the soul of Versus 13. Just listening to the
amazing.
music of these trailers, you could feel the type of game that they were going for, and it felt like something brand new. I think music always plays an important role in aiding the delivery of a narrative, but Shimomura's work was able to capture the very essence of the project in a way that very few composers can ever accomplish. Beyond Nomura and Shimomura, the development staff behind Final Fantasy Versus 13 included some of Square's most experienced and respected veterans, people whose involvement hinted at something truly special. Scenario writer Kazushige Nojima, known for his work on Final Fantasy 7, 8, 10, as well as Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, was crafting the story. Unfortunately, in the conversion to Final Fantasy 15, all of Nojima's work was essentially thrown out, meaning that we lost the story of one of video games' most legendary writers.
Let me say, this is something that is true, and it is something that I had, during my Rebirth lecture play series, we talked a little bit about this. Specifically, whenever Cloud would go to sleep and he would dream of Zack, or there would be that juxtaposition of those scenes, that is a straight from Versus 13 concept, which I think is just really, really under discussed. Because there is this kind of link between worlds that happens during sleep. And that was the I'm sure Ryan's about to go into it, but that was the link between Noctis and Stella's worlds. When Noctis would go to sleep, he would enter into kind of this other world, and Stella and he were rivals and lovers. I mean, talk about a heated rivalry. That one was pretty intense. And so then in Final Fantasy 15, if you're driving around, you'll notice that Noctis kind of has narcolepsy in the back seat. He's constantly falling asleep. Well, that was actually a story trope that was going on and on in Versus 13 in some, we know that from some of the dev interviews and stuff. So that is a repurposed, recycled sort of thing that's in Rebirth. We slightly mentioned it, but we had other fish to fry. I think that was the night that we discussed shipping and dates. So that got lost in that particular lecture. Anyway, kind of interesting stuff. Let's continue.
Of course, it's impossible to talk about Final Fantasy Versus 13 without talking about its heroine. From the moment of her reveal, people were already in love with Stella Nox Virae. This is a 10 out of 10 design, and I seriously don't know how this didn't make it into the final game of 15. We
Great
would like
design.
to imagine how Stella's role would fully play out in the game for years, and as a result, there are often a lot of comparisons between 15's Lunafreya and Versus 13's Promised Stella, with many people saying that they wish they got the latter instead. Many people push back on that, saying that we don't know what Stella would have been like, and maybe she could have even been worse. And theoretically, that's
Maybe.
true. After all, Nomura hasn't always done the absolute best for all of his heroines.
That's
but
true.
the concept of what they've shown is still something that fans crave. A leading lady that is simultaneously fulfilling and subverting away from previous Final Fantasy heroine tropes. Her love for Noctis wouldn't make her complacent, and wouldn't make her back down from her ambitions. It's a concept that many people still yearn for. More than just the story, it's also the gameplay that people yearned for with Versus. 2001's Kingdom Hearts was an absolute revolution in the action RPG genre. Rather than focusing on something like the combo-centric style of Devil May Cry, which utilized complex inputs in order to be stylish, Kingdom Hearts wanted to keep the command-centric nature of Final Fantasy and Squaresoft titles leading up to this point. It achieved this through the iconic real-time command menu, which required players to choose commands in the middle of battle without the safety of a pause screen. This brilliantly replicated and intensified the feeling of ATB combat, where players felt an urgency to select the correct commands as fast as possible. Otherwise, they'd be attacked by the enemy multiple times over. This created a hybrid system, where your choice of tactics was just as important as your reflexes. It emphasized considering your ability, your equipment, and the commands you would select in battle, all while creating a really fun and flashy action game. They didn't just create a new game with Kingdom Hearts 1, they ushered in a brand new genre of Final Fantasy style action combat, and they did it all without sacrificing elemental weaknesses, party members, and the game's core RPG elements. Kingdom Hearts 2 then took
Let me speak to that for just a second. I actually think that he is spot on there, and part of the success of Kingdom Hearts is in the gameplay. I guarantee you, if they had put Kingdom Hearts gameplay in the name of a Final Fantasy, take out the Disney characters and stuff, keep the same exact gameplay, call it Final Fantasy, it would not have been popular. That is my maybe hot take. And it's because Final Fantasy has always been thought of as one specific type of menu or command-based sort of thing. So when it shifted over to an action genre, a lot of those fans that were used to command-based systems really were turned off to that. And the compromise after 15 and 16, and as they were making 16, I suppose, is the remake system, which is an interesting hybrid, but I really don't think that, even though the gameplay is pretty interesting in Kingdom Hearts, at least Kingdom Hearts 2 and especially 3 for me, I think they were wise. And it really brings up an interesting question of if they had decided to make a third pillar, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and a third pillar of gameplay style that was more action, that wasn't one of their core franchises, would those action games have done better? Of course, I can't really say that Final Fantasy 15 needed to do better than it did. Critically, it had mixed reviews, but it's still one of the best-selling Final Fantasy games of all time. So anyway, let's continue. Interesting stuff here. I enjoyed the combat in Kingdom Hearts 2, and 3 is where I really felt it was just really, really firing on all cylinders. Wonder why they tried to change the story so much when a lot of 13 is so ingrained in 15. Well, Ninja-kun, that's a great curiosity. Part of it was contractual agreements. When Nomura was taken off of the project, and maybe Ryan will get into this, there were contractual stipulations that said they had to still use these characters and certain designs. Luna to Stella was one where they got a little bit of flexibility on, but a lot of the characters and some character relationships were repurposed, but they had to keep a lot of these same characters. So, yeah. Alpha build for 7R shown in December was very Kingdom Hearts based. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. This is interesting.
To an entirely different level. Taking the foundation of the first game and refining it to the absolute max, many people still consider this combat to be the gold standard of action RPGs. Kingdom Hearts 2, in particular Final Mix, perfected the weight and fluidity of combat, with even the most basic interactions feeling satisfying. A new older Sora that
I do agree with
controls in a
that.
more mature
Kingdom
way,
Hearts 1,
giving a true
I
feeling
did
of
not care
progression
for.
to his character. It expanded the player's combat options with things like Dry Forms, which allow players to temporarily change up Sora's style of combat. This game also got many people thinking about what would happen if a Final Fantasy game played like this. And indeed, Nomura was also thinking the same thing. Final Fantasy's DNA was essential to birthing Kingdom Hearts. But after the success of Kingdom Hearts 2, Nomura said that he wanted that relationship to flip. He wanted Kingdom Hearts to start influencing the future of Final Fantasy.
Wow,
With him
okay.
saying, quote, "The world of Versus 13 might be a little closer to my personal taste than Kingdom Hearts, but the entire project owes something to Kingdom Hearts as well. When I first began KH, I was part of the core FF team and tried to bring elements of that into development. The KH team was always inspired by FF, and I'd like to see that reversed. But as for the differences between KH and FF, KH is a lighter world of magic, fantasy, and people doing good things. I've been in that world for a very long time, perhaps too long. However, there is an important thing to note here. Nomura's vision for an action Final Fantasy was never about turning the series into a hack and slash game. In fact, he was very adamant that the move toward action could not mean lobotomizing the series' RPG roots, and if it was to be action, it had to still feature all of the common Final Fantasy elements that fans look forward to. Specifically saying that you couldn't just throw away core pillars like multiple
I forgot about the
characters
free
for the
shooting from
pursuit of
Prompto.
action.
Yeah.
With him saying, quote, "We thought about getting rid of the UI, throwing away the damage point display system of previous games, and making Noctis the only playable character. But if we were to do this, we would risk making Final Fantasy just another action game. There was a big concern.
I actually think that contributed to Final Fantasy 15 being feeling less Final Fantasy, because so many people do feel like the party setup is so crucial. That's why the DLC was such a welcome addition of being able to play as Prompto, Gladio, and Ignis in 15. But we can get by that with simply saying, well, this is Noctis's story and stuff. But he's absolutely right. Again, it would help if we had like a real definition of what Final Fantasy is. I did my best, but whatever.
That we not forget that this is a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Not only that, but during the development of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kitase and the team wanted to move forward with it as a pure action game system, likely closer to something like Final Fantasy XVI. Nomura was the one who put a stop to this, with Kitase saying on the matter, quote, "My personal opinion was I thought it..."
Angelus, that's a good question. I bet you're not the only one in the chat that has that question. Angelus Mortis on Twitter said, so I've never been a behind-the-scenes guy with Final Fantasy, so I'm confused. Why would they call it Versus 13 when the mainline 13 was already a thing? I've heard about this, but don't know anything about it. So the question about that is, the answer is kind of convoluted, but when they revealed Final Fantasy 13, they revealed a series of games that belonged to a universe called Fabula. What was it? Nova Fabula Crystallis. Basically, the new story of the crystal is what that was going to be. And all of these games were going to take place in the same world, the world or universe of Final Fantasy 13. There were 3 games included in this. Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 or Agito Type 0. I think they eventually took the 13 out. Final Fantasy Type 0. And then finally, Fabula Nova Crystallis. Thank you. I'd forgotten what it was. And then number 3 was Final Fantasy Versus 13. And it was supposed to be multiple tales within this. From a development side of things, it was meant to help expedite and get some things out more quickly. However, rocky patches happened. So anyway, yeah, y'all got it. Y'all were there. Fabula Novus Crystallis. What's up, Leon? Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you. I did do my best. We do our best and forget the rest. That's from P90X. The illusions tonight are out of control.
That would have been
References.
suitable to make it a full 100% modern action game. Actually, when we were discussing this and I proposed I wanted to take it full action, our director Nomura Tetsuya said, no, I don't like that idea. Nomura said, no, I want to keep it in. Original elements for the original fans and what they loved about the original turn-based style system. That's really what led us to this hybrid model that we have today.
Can we just stop for a second? So many people throw Nomura under the bus, saying he has changed all of this, blah, blah, blah. Here in this quote from Yoshinori Kitase, Kitase wanted to take it full action, but Tetsuya Nomura said, no, I don't like that idea. That will take, we want to keep in original elements for the original fans and what they loved about the original turn-based style system. That is incredibly interesting. So don't hate on Nomura. That's great. Subtext, I was already falling out of Final Fantasy fandom at that point when I saw they were calling one of the games Versus 13. Yeah, I felt the same way. I thought it was a stupid name. That is not a mainstream appeal name at all. Yeah. Never played 13. Unfortunately for you, it is a terrific game, especially in hindsight. But I loved it when it came out. But I tend to like everything. Had the misfortune of being developed at the nadir of the series. Definition of scapegoat would have a picture of Nomura. Yeah. God, everybody, I love the hot takes tonight. This is good class discussion.
we feature element of both of those.
That's
Nomura
good.
has always been of the belief that in adapting FF games to action, the elements that FF fans enjoy can't be compromised. And I gotta admit, I wish many of his peers agreed and understood this. Final Fantasy Versus 13 was planned to be the most high-budget attempt Final Fantasy had ever made toward being an action game. So much so that it was already being considered a year into the game's development on whether it should be converted into Final Fantasy 15. It was planned to be a direct evolution of the action command RPG genre started with Kingdom Hearts, and also featured a menu where the player would, presumably in real time, select commands from the menu. However, unlike Kingdom Hearts, Versus 13 would feature playable party members that you could swap to at any time during the game, and each one would feature their own unique mechanics and playstyle. The plan was to bring together all the knowledge gained from previous Square Enix games like Dirge of Cerberus for Prompto's shooting mechanics, Kingdom Hearts for general systems and actions, and various Final Fantasy titles culminating into one ultimate system. The synergy
That is
of
pretty
swapping
rad.
back and forth between these characters would then lay the groundwork for Square Enix's
I do like
next
that a lot.
groundbreaking
Yeah.
system. The missing link, pun intended, between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Final Fantasy VII Remake was Versus 13. The menu-driven style of combat was combined with the ability to play as all characters and use them synergistically, something that would become the core of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I also can't help but think that with Kingdom Hearts 3 featuring an optional slow motion mode for whenever you pick things from the command menu, if Final Fantasy Versus 13 wouldn't have also implemented a wait mode, a feature that would also find itself in the finalized game of Final Fantasy 15. While we don't know for sure, it's obvious that this bullet time command selection has been cooking with Nomura for a while and became the basis of Re-Trilogy's combat. The reach of Final Fantasy Versus 13 extends far.
I tell you, when we were doing the Rebirth lecture series, if you remember right, I just kept on saying, I love this game the way I love Final Fantasy 15 because the development, at least strategy, design model, and strategy of Rebirth is so reminiscent of 15. I love the style of open world. I love the kind of quest setup and all that stuff. It just feels like, oh gosh, Ninja. That's exactly what I'm saying. 13 walked so 15 could run. 15 ran so 7 Remake could fly. That is how I feel about this entirely. So yeah, thank you. You said it so much more succinctly than I would have. Let's continue.
Far beyond the walls of Square Enix. Perhaps the most famous love letter to Versus 13
Lost Soul
is
Aside.
Lost Soul Aside. When the solo developer Yang Bing released the first trailer in 2016, the internet went into a frenzy because it looked more like the original Versus trailers than Final Fantasy 15 did. He even went as far as collaborating with fashion company Rowan to make the clothes for the game. More recently, Reynatus has emerged as a
Let me tell you, Lost Soul Aside, I love that game. Okay. And like full disclosure, I do have to say this. They sent me a copy of that game because of my love of Final Fantasy 15. And it has its flaws. So I want to be very honest about that. But I enjoyed that game beginning to end. I finished it. I'm one of the few that finished it, right? I really enjoyed that game. And I loved it because it felt so much like the best parts of Final Fantasy 15 and Versus 13. So anyway, if you're interested in I think it's good at a good discount now. I would highly suggest Lost Soul Aside. So anyway.
direct spiritual successor to the Shinjuku aesthetic. The game's creator, Takumi Isobe, has been incredibly transparent about the influence of Nomura's work. And asked about how it was when he first met Nomura, he said, "Well, it was Kingdom Hearts that inspired me to become a game creator. I was so nervous I couldn't go any further than greeting Mr. Nomura, who is a key person in my life and whom I admire and respect. So, as an icebreaker, I started off by saying that I wanted to play Final Fantasy Versus 13 as a fan. And it's clear that Reynatus wears its Versus 13 inspirations on its shoulders. Versus is also influencing financing projects inside of Square Enix. Dissidia Duellum is a project with Nomura as a core visionary who is yet again channeling the themes of Versus
He is.
13.
I mean, yeah.
Once more, using a modern Tokyo setting with beloved FF characters dressed in modern day fashion.
Oh, Amy,
What
you
I
definitely
find
do.
most
The ending is
interesting
really
that
interesting.
The
It's
iconic
good.
FF characters are called ghosts in this game. With
Hmm.
Final Fantasy Versus 13's emphasis on the worship of a goddess of death, the Tokyo-inspired Insomnia using a death crystal, connections to Final Fantasy Versus 13 quickly become apparent. And while, as of the recording of this video, this game hasn't released yet, I'm willing to bet in the final release, those connections will become increasingly more obvious. But the biggest elephant in the room remains the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 4. It is painfully clear that Nomura wants to use this game to reveal his ambitions for Versus 13 that got sanded down and chopped away.
Oh, it's
in
very
Versus
clear.
15.
Yes.
Yazora's name is Night Sky. Noctis's name is Light of the Night Sky. And this name isn't just Nomura having a fondness for the concept, although he definitely does have a fondness for this concept. He's
Yes.
elaborated that there is indeed a meaning behind it, with him saying, quote, "Do you know the name Sora means sky in Japanese? And Noctis, his family name is Kylum, which means sky as well, so basically, Noctis means night sky. So they are kind of complete opposites to each other. There is a reason why I named these characters as opposites. Noctis is kind of like my latest boy or latest son, and I expect him to be more clever than Cloud. I think the reason is embedded into
I'd
the
agree
very
with that.
DNA of Kingdom Hearts 4. I believe that Noctis was always meant to be a part of Kingdom Hearts. However, when Versus 13
That was me, Liam.
eventually cancelled, this plan fell through, and as a result, he had to make a stand-in for Noctis, that being Yozora. Though I cannot show footage of this on screen due to the fact that Square Enix will send someone to kill me in my sleep tonight, leaked footage of Kingdom Hearts 3's Verum Rex scene in an earlier point in development showed that Noctis's character model was used in the place of Yozora, and a character model that looked like Stella's was used in the place of whatever this girl's name is. There is absolutely no chance that this is a coincidence. Not when there's also a shot-for-shot remake of Versus 13's trailer inside of Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. Not when it uses the same Tokyo metropolitan government building as a visual focus. Not when Strelitzia and Stella's name both mean star and they both wear a white dress. Not when Sora has been made to look like Noctis and Riku has been made to look like Noctis and another third Noctis has been made to be Noctis.
Listen.
And the whole game looks like a Final Fantasy game, not to mention that Bahamut is a canonical part of Verum Rex. Kingdom Hearts 4 can't be Final Fantasy Versus 13. It has to still be Kingdom Hearts. And though Verum Rex will serve the narrative purpose that Final Fantasy Versus 13 was meant to in terms of Kingdom Hearts' narrative, whatever Versus was meant to be on its own will never see the light of day. That is, unless the idea that Verum Rex could exist as its own game, unattached from the Disney machine, is the ultimate what if for fans who have spent 20 years.
I would agree with
mourning
that.
the original
I think
vision
Verum
of Versus
Rex
13. Legally
is the
distinct
solution.
Noctis and Stella having their own game as Square Enix's own IP would be incredible.
Yeah.
It would definitely fulfill the desires of many fans and clearly fulfill the desire of Nomura. And while it's fun to think that Nomura is just sneaking his original IP into Kingdom Hearts, the legal reality is something that is much more worrying. By contract, Disney owns Kingdom Hearts and every original character created for Kingdom Hearts, including Sora and Riku, but also possibly Yozora. Square Enix only retains the rights to their pre-existing cameos like Final Fantasy and The World Ends With You. If Nomura were to make a standalone Verum Rex game tomorrow, it would probably have to be published under the Kingdom Hearts umbrella, likely titled
Probably,
something
yeah.
like Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex, which would still mean that Disney is the ultimate owner. However, there are some loopholes that may have already happened that would allow Verum Rex to break free. For example, it's entirely possible that Verum Rex already is a Square Enix IP, in the same way that The World Ends With You or Final Fantasy are Square Enix IPs that appeared in Kingdom Hearts. That is to say that it's already a thing that exists and is owned by Square. However, they are featuring that IP inside of Kingdom Hearts first. And there are actually some things to substantiate this. For example, if you look at the box art for Verum Rex inside of Kingdom
In the
Hearts 3,
Toy Story
it only lists
store.
a copyright from Square Enix and Nomura, but
So
no
that's
mention of
interesting.
Disney. Now, granted, it also mentions an entirely fictional console
Yeah.
that doesn't exist like Play Plus, but having two legitimate entertainment copyrights from Square Enix and Nomura are really interesting.
That is
especially
interesting.
when there is no mention of Disney, like there is on everything else Kingdom Hearts related. After all, there's Kingdom Hearts merch that doesn't have a Square Enix logo on it, but it does have a Disney logo. And so for this fake box art to not even mention Disney, it's entirely possible that this is an IP that's owned by Square Enix. As a result, you can think of Verum Rex as a pre-existing, unreleased internal project that was merely lent to the world of Kingdom
I would
Hearts,
hate to
much
be
like
a
any other
lawyer
Final
negotiating
Fantasy game.
Kingdom Hearts.
If this were the case, then Square Enix and Nomura would own Yozora, which would mean that Verum Rex as its own IP is indeed possible. Disney has also given Nomura a ton of creative ownership and autonomy with these characters before in the past. Even though they could legally do whatever they wanted to with Sora, they typically won't move a muscle without Nomura's explicit.
It hurts my heart just a little bit to hear this incredible climactic music from Final Fantasy 15 with Kingdom Hearts. Just because I love that scene so much in Final Fantasy 15, but you know, we do what we do.
Approval. So I think it's more than possible that they let this slide, and that he owns the IP and will be able to make Verum Rex its own game. Final Fantasy Versus 13 will almost certainly never return in name, but in essence, it has never truly left. It lives on in the projects that inspired, in the creative choices Nomura continues to make, and in the unmistakable shadow it casts over Verum Rex and Kingdom Hearts. While the original vision was buried, its spirit, its tone, its symbolism, its emotional weight continues to echo throughout every deliberate nod that Nomura makes. And whether we ever see a formal revival, a Final Fantasy Versus 15, it's hard to say for sure. But Final Fantasy Versus 13 endures, not as a game, but as an idea too powerful to ever die.
Clearly, it won't die. Very well done video, Night Sky Prince. Deeply appreciate. Oh, stop. We're done. We're watching ourselves. Inception. Inconceivable. Okay, yeah, it's just interesting stuff through and through. That's the other thing we'll get to in just a moment. Let's talk for just a second about that. Oh, back to the Dragon Quest music. Oh my gosh. How triumphant. Boy, what a great video, Ryan. Just dang, great stuff with that one. Some things that I didn't know about Versus 13 as the biggest 15 fan maybe in the world, but that's good. I do appreciate Versus 13 for what it was trying to do, and especially for all of the work that Nomura did. I'm not saying his name right. I get that. Nomura. I'm not good at Japanese. But anyway, very well done to Night Sky. I love his videos. Ryan, he is a powerhouse when it comes to making videos, and just like really good. So what I really want to do now is just play Final Fantasy 15, because the mention of Noctis, like, I mean, gosh, love of my life, Noctis, Lucis Kylum, Prince of Fishing, Prince of Lucis, King of Fishing, King of our hearts, love that guy. So anyway, that's good. We do have one other piece of news. I was going to kind of save it for the end, but I'd rather kind of do it right now and just kind of get through that so we can sink our teeth into this Dragon Quest thing. Because Dragon Quest, I have not played this at all yet, so this is going to be fun to test out this demo. But I would love to look at this other thing. Moving from Kingdom Hearts over to Final Fantasy VII Remake news, there was a new interview that dropped today, because Hamaguchi just he loves to interview. You know, it's the thing that he loves the most in the world, I think, and he loves to put the fans on a trail, and so we're just gonna follow that trail for a little bit. So, hey, do you want to know something? I'm gonna tell you something right now. Nymeria. Listen, I don't know. I just read English. I'm a good old Southern boy from good old Alabama. Okay. Thank you, Panda Bacon. Thank you so much for the gifts. Appreciate you. So Nomura, the R is pronounced with a D. Nomura. Okay, I guess I'll do that. I like your background lighting. Reminds you of a retro sunset. Thank you. Like, I just pressed a new switch and boom, this happened. I love it. It feels like very Miami Vice behind me, or like Hotline Miami or something. Yeah, Prof of the Year awards. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I should do Prof of the Year awards. It's like that Obama meme where he's like giving himself the medal. That's me. I'll tell you this year is the 10th anniversary of Final Fantasy 15. And with a channel called Professor Noctis, Prof Noctis, you better believe that this fall we're going to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of Final Fantasy 15. I have to. Like, I'm contractually obligated by the universe to celebrate bigger than everybody. And I will tell you, I'm working on some projects right now that are going to, you're going to love them. You're going to love them. So it's going to be good stuff. With that, let's turn now to some Final Fantasy VII Remake news, because our best friend Naoki Hamaguchi has done a new interview, this time with Gamer Braves. Came out today, and I haven't read all of it. We're just going to look at a few things here. So you can go over to gamerbraves.com, check this out. This happened during Comic Fiesta. Comic Fiesta. Oh, is it time to platinum Final Fantasy 15 again? Sure it is. Let's do it. What's up, Honey Empress? Honey Bun Empress. Good to see you. Let's just go through it. We've had the opportunity to have an exclusive interview with Hamaguchi. Let's get into it. The lasting emotion behind Rebirth. Oh, that's exciting. Let's go. There they are. Right there. We began by asking Hamaguchi-san what emotion he personally wanted players to remember most after completing Rebirth. His answer centers firmly on the connections formed throughout the journey. Ooh, that's good. Rebirth is, again, they talked about it being about bonds. He said, so the thing we wanted players to take away the most from Rebirth is the bonds between the characters within the game, as well as the relationships, the unique relationships that exist between them. He said that the idea was not confined to narrative moments, so the theme of bonds is represented throughout the game, whether it's in the combat design, the story as well, just the entire philosophy of the game design. Now, chat, this is a spoiler for some things that I'm putting out next year. Or not next year, what am I freaking saying? This year, 2026, coming soon as we revisit all of Final Fantasy VII stuff. But one of the things that is really interesting about Rebirth and this idea of bonds, if you remember some of our preliminary talks about Buddhism in one of our lecture plays, we talked about bonds and the relationship also as attachment. And so while the game develops attachment and synergy among characters, this is also, according to Buddhism, the root of all suffering. An attachment to people and the things of this world, because those attachments are liminal and temporary. Therefore, if they can be severed, when they are severed, that presents suffering and pain. And so the process of Rebirth is the attachment of Cloud and the party to one another and to the planet and all this stuff. And then by the end, there's the severing of that attachment, and we will see even more of that severing in part 3. That is my hypothesis, though it's just good narrative writing, right? You're going to bring attachment and love and stuff. But with a game that's so heavily influenced by Buddhist ideology, I would not be surprised if that's what he's getting at as well. So, okay, anyway, side note, mini lecture, let's continue. Rather than forcing that message through exposition, the team aimed to let players feel it naturally. So it's very easy to feel that notions of bonds and the relationships when you are playing the game. Yeah. Maintaining rhythm through mini games. Oh, we're going straight for the jugular here. Everybody's favorite part of Rebirth. Certainly my favorite. I don't know, I'm attached to the Prof Noctis channel and you don't feel suffering. Hang around here long enough and you'll suffer. Join us for a 12-hour Lies of P stream. That's suffering. Okay. Rebirth's extensive selection of minigames has been a frequent topic of discussion. That's true. If ever you want to ignite the people, say something about mini games and how you like them. And boy, the internet will come to you. Elon's Twitter will come for you and do terrible things. That's happened to me twice this week. So that's not a unique problem for Rebirth only. A lot of games, aside from the main theme and the main story progression, also have side games and mini games built into them. According to Hamaguchi, pacing was the key concern. So when you're playing the game, you're going through the main story progression as well as the intended game design. You tend to fall into this trap of having the same tempo. So you tend to get bored playing with it. I agree with that. To counter that, the team deliberately introduced variety. I think that probably is why it worked for me. Maybe it's like my ADHD coded brain, but it's like I always need like, oh, look, a squirrel, or oh, look, a frog, a mini game for me to go jump into. Oh, a dolphin to ride on? Let's go do that. I am the man that spent 300 hours fishing in Final Fantasy 15. So screw the haters. I love a mini game because I like fun. I'm sorry, you only live once. Why does everything have to be depressing and so serious? Let's smile every now and then. Yeah, Aerith died. Let's go snowboarding. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. It's the coffee. Okay. Let's get back to it. To counter that, the team deliberately introduced variety. So to combat this, and keep the fresh feeling of going through the game. That's why we introduced these mini games to sort of add a diversity of experience as you're playing the game, to keep up a good rhythm, so to say. He knows that not all players respond the same way, so we understand that when you introduce these different facets in the game, some people would play it and they'd really enjoy it, but others would rather just get on with the main story. Yeah, speedrunners. Still, he emphasized that this balance was carefully considered, so it's sort of a calculated move. I love that is what they said about this. It's like, you know what? We're weighing the pros and cons. Some people are going to have some issues, but we're willing to do that. Yeah. Your issue was that you tried to rush through the story to avoid spoilers and then doing all the side content with barely any storyboard you after a few hours. That's fair. I got off of Twitter for like the 2 months that I played. And the brief times that I did check it out, my first playthrough was 175 hours. Okay. Like first rolling credits at 175 hours. And I did 100% of the game, as much as you can do on your first playthrough. So I platinumed it on my hard mode playthrough, of course, but like I 100%ed everything the first time. And because of that, like I went at my own pace and I really enjoyed it, but I do understand that some people really want to do that. I do hope for the sanity of players that are different from me, that they are able to isolate and sideline the mini games a little bit more than they did in, say, like Costa del Sol and other places. So, yeah. 25 hours of screenshots. Chrono, you know me so freaking well. Like, I've got an album that's simply called Keep Calm and Carry On. It's just sights of calm because I'm a psychopath. Evan, you know Evan, co-host on our Conversation podcast. He said, I wanted to get you one of those digital camera or digital picture frames and preload it with all of your pictures from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was like, that's an amazing gift, actually. He said, but I didn't know how you could do that. I don't know how I could have done that without not surprising you. So anyway, okay, let's keep going. So we understand when you introduce these different facets into a game, some people play. Okay, I already read that. He also pointed back to the legacy as a guiding factor. So the original FF7 had lots of mini games and it was very famous for that. So I was talking to a friend of mine over the break. I tweeted this earlier and a lot of people didn't like this, but it's true. I was talking to my friend John Austin, and shout out to John Austin. He said to me, he asked me the question. He's only played Remake and Rebirth and he liked them both. And he said to me, so how many mini games were in the original game? Like what were the mini games there? And so I started just listing them, starting in Midgar, going all the way through all the way through the game. And I went one after another, and I detailed each one. And I didn't get through, I didn't get to disc 2 before he was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of mini games. I was like, yeah, and there's more. And then I went into chocobo breeding, and and he was like, so yeah, I mean, this really is a pretty true remake to the original in that respect. I was like, yeah, it pretty much is. There were a lot. Now, they were certainly a little bit more optional in the original game, whereas these are kind of front and center, a little bit more robust and all that stuff. But I do understand both sides of that argument. But to me, it preserves some of that childlike wonder that I spent just exasperating the gold saucer. And chocobo breeding, my gosh, that could have been a game of its own. Tamagotchi 2.0. Okay, so lots of mini games. Who's famous for that? So next we have Barrett's Evolution. Ooh, this will be good. I don't know anything about this. This part. Why am I not getting pictures? I want my pictures. I'm just gonna reload this. I know it's got pictures. Yeah. Oh, this is so much better. There he is. And now we've got Barrett's Evolution. Isn't that better? You get to see what I'm talking about? Yeah. When asked if any character had grown on him more deeply through the remake process, Hamaguchi-san highlighted Barrett Wallace as a standout. Yeah. Christian, yeah, they do go by much quicker compared to the remake. The OGs did go by much quicker. But honestly, the game went by much quicker too. But these games are so much more involved in remake that, again, I think it'd be a great Mario Party collection. Please just release a game called Final Fantasy VII Replay, or Recreation, or Gold Saucer Edition, and it's just you at the Gold Saucer. Give me that. Make them date, all that kind of stuff. Hey, see you, John Q. I am so glad that you hopped in tonight. Have a great night, man, and talk soon. Bye, buddy. Yeah. As long as they have more chocobo. I'm hoping chocobo breeding, okay? I am fearful about, as much as they have expanded every cutscene and every story dialogue in the game and sequence, I'm scared of what they're going to animate among chocobos. It's going to be just like breeding day at the farm. That's going to be crazy. Rated M for mature for chocobo romance. And it's a mini game. You got to push buttons. That'd be crazy. Oh my gosh. You know people would be naming those chocobos all kinds of it. That'd be crazy. Doki Doki Gold Saucer. Honestly, would play. I would play Doki Doki Gold Saucer. That would be... I'm into it. I would absolutely do that. If I played Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that felt insane, going to all the tea parties with every student as their professor, that felt like a Title IX violation. I would definitely play Doki Doki Gold Saucer. Anyway, let's keep going. We're never going to get through it. Most of Rebirth's minigames were optional. Costa del Sol was the offender. But you are in Costa del Sol. Anyway, I could go on forever. The pigeon dating game. Isn't that the one that like Robbie Damon and Noctis's voice actor? I can't believe that I'm blanking on his name. That they kind of did. I forget. How to Fool Boyfriend. I didn't know that one. Oh, Highwind. Oh, God. This is going to be a hype stream in a minute. Yeah, if we keep going in this. Any hopes for Chocobo Museum Racing? I actually don't know what that is. Yeah. They didn't have the guts to show Don commit suicide. So, Ray Chase, thank you, Smith. I don't know why I had that brain blank. That's great. That's date everything. Okay. And so they certainly aren't going to do anything crazy for Chocobo breeding. Honestly, like, I hope they do. I hope it's a mini game of Chocobo breeding. That'd be so funny. Cloud. No, I'm not even saying that. I don't want shippers to come after me. So anyway, we'll do it. So Ray Chase, thank you, everybody. I don't know why I freaking blanked on that. That's so funny. Okay, let's keep going. So as a creator, all the characters are special to me. All. So in the original FF7, Barrett was a product of the time, very contemporary, very cookie cutter. Well, that's he was a caricature in the original game. That we can call him what it was. Barrett was Mr. T in the original game. Let's not pull punches there. There were limits to what they could do with the character. With modern technology and storytelling tools, those restrictions no longer applied. But currently, with the new Barrett, we're able to showcase more of Barrett's character, personality, the sort of justice he seeks, the things that he wants to protect. I like that. I like that. Hamaguchi also highlighted how Barrett's role against Fate became clearer in the remake. Barrett stood against Fate with the other characters in the new remake. The fan response confirmed that effort. So even after Rebirth went on sale, there were lots of comments from fans about Barrett and his development. I was very, very glad to receive those comments. Okay, that's good. That's good. I think that's an interesting way of saying that. Barrett's role against Fate became clearer in the remake. One of my favorite lines of Barrett that I think about all the time is, "There ain't no getting off this track we're on," or this train that we're on. I think that is so important, especially thinking about the idea of destiny. And is destiny the track that we are on, and can it be shifted? Or do you get off the train entirely? I think there's some interesting things there. Anyway, that's for another lecture, another day. Navigating the Weight of the Seven compilation. Oh, God. Do we want to... This should turn into a part Final Fantasy VII year, but also all of these dating sim games. That should be the new Prof Noctis channel. Prof Dates. That's what we could call it. Prof Noct Dates. Okay, next, with Final Fantasy VII spanning numerous spin-offs and timelines, we asked those existing stories imposed creative limitations. Hamaguchi framed the project as something broader than a simple remake. Now, this is interesting. So it's not from the perspective solely of making the remake, but the remake project as a whole. Even from members such as creative director Nomura, I should say, and producer Kitase, or maybe it's Kitase, I don't know how to say it, Kitase, they didn't just want to make a remake, they wanted to make a story that could include the compilation of the spin-offs and the soul that they have birthed across the years into this new project and bring a fresh feel to FF7. That's an incredibly important phrase right there. That's good. They didn't want to just make a remake. They wanted to make a story that could include the compilation of the spin-offs rather than just do a remake. And that, I think, encapsulates very clearly the problem of the original Final Fantasy VII that didn't exist when it originally was made, but it emerged as they kept adding on to the story. Right? With Advent Children, with Crisis Core, and certain characters and story beats, suddenly Final Fantasy VII was rendered insufficient within its own compilation, even though it was the catalyst for that compilation. I think that's a really important thing. So to remake the game is to say, okay, if we were to complete the compilation, then we've got to do something about this original game problem in the compilation because it doesn't line up. They are aware of that. Now, they've got a lot of loose ends to tie up if they're going to do that. We need Genesis in Part 3, or at least a mention of him or something. But they're trying to include all of that so that you have a comprehensive sort of thing. I was talking to somebody on Twitter earlier today. The beauty of this is that I think that the remake series actually honors the legacy of the original Final Fantasy VII, maybe more than if it had done a straight one-to-one remake. Because it's done something so different that both are necessarily, they are both necessary in existence. Meaning you can't fully tell the story of like the original game. Or like you can't remove the original game from the equation. And while in the compilation, it's going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake in that. The original game still stands alone as art, as history, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a really important piece there. I think that we oftentimes, I think that most people are going to have more fun with this game when they don't associate it with the original game. That's something that I've kind of learned for myself. When I stopped comparing and contrasting all of the nitpicky stuff and how it might connect to the original game, that's when I started to really appreciate Remake Trilogy for what I think they're trying to do. So I think when they say that it exists in two worlds, what they're talking about is that it exists in two canvases. Like these are two separate pieces of art, right? But I think that that's the problem that they're talking about here. Now, that's not to discount ideas about sequels or like time travel or anything. I don't want to get into any of that. I do think it's really interesting, though, this phrase that they said. So that let me continue here. Balancing accessibility and depth proved challenging, I'm sure. One of the things that we sort of grappled with is how much do we show and how much do we include, especially for players unfamiliar with the expanded universe. That's true too. At the same time, we acknowledge the growing popularity of non-original characters because these spin-offs, because of these different additions to the FF7 series, there's a growing roster of popular characters who weren't in the original FF7. Yeah. Wouldn't Crisis Core be the only thing the OG has to stand up against in the compilation? I do agree with that. But there are things that are explored in Advent Children that you can deduce from the original game, but I don't think that they're fully fleshed out. And so it does demand a little bit of a leap, I would say. Christian Lopez, I that's what I think is a great... You've said it really well there. FF7 Remake and Rebirth are sequels to Crisis Core, not necessarily remakes of FF7. Yeah. I think when you look at like The Kids Are All Right and On the Way to a Smile, even if there aren't story beats that don't fit, the storytelling is just not at that same level, I guess. It's just not as fleshed out in the original game. And I imagine that from a creator's standpoint, they saw that and they were like, we are making these banger things, Advent Children, Crisis Core, that really flesh out these characters, and we haven't done justice to our originals. So we need to bring everything up to snuff from a storytelling standpoint, but also from like some of the narrative threads that we really should be teasing out a little bit more. Like in the original game, the idea of Jenova kind of feeding on a person's despair, as we see in Advent Children and the Geostigma, it's not non-existent, but it's not as quite universal as it is in Advent Children. It's teased out in Disc 2 a good deal, but it's not quite as elaborate as we see in Rebirth, for example. In the Rebirth discussion of despair, suffering, and kind of the sorrow and the ability to manipulate a person's perception, that is so closely tied to Advent Children, I think. So I don't know. I'm grateful for that, but at the same time, like, yeah, you could take the original game and deduce those same things. I think they're just trying to make explicit what might have been implicit or inferred. That may be what I'm trying to say. Long and short of it. Okay, let's keep going. When we mentioned Jesse as a personal favorite, Hamaguchi-san responded warmly. Hey, here's a question for you, chat. That previous quote said, there are a lot of popular characters who weren't original to Final Fantasy VII that were growing in popularity. Which characters from the compilation are you like, yeah, they really grew on me? Are there any that you really just fell in love with? I'd be curious about that. For me, I really liked Leslie. And so I've really enjoyed the Leslie stuff. in the remake trilogy so far. Leslie was a good one for me. I hope we get some Evan Townsend in part 3. Okay, let's keep going. Jesse in the remake was one of the characters who managed to grow a lot of new fans, maybe convert previous people who didn't really like her into people who really did like her. That's true. I like Jesse a lot more. Kunsel, yes. Oh, good answer. Man, good answer. That feels like Family Feud right there. He added he was really happy to hear that. Good. Reflections on a Dream Project. Oh, this is good. Also, what is that shirt that this dude's wearing? Look at that. Chocobo with an attitude. I want that shirt, chat. Shibuya Chocobo. Is that what that says? I love that. That's awesome. We asked Hamaguchi about a comment he made earlier this year regarding remaking Final Fantasy VI and whether any elements from that title influenced his work on 7 Remake. So because I played the original 6 as a kid, and it was sort of one of those roots of me as a gamer, now as a game creator making titles, you can sort of see how that comes through in the work I produce. We continued to explain that while producing the remake series, the team had to remain faithful to the original 7 story, though they added new parts to enhance the experience. So in that respect, because we are keeping to the 7 script, oh, that's funny. There was no really conscious incorporation of 6's themes or special bits into the new series. Okay, I like that. Ooh, Cisne. Yes. Neo. Oh, gosh, these are great. Great answers. Cisne and Kunsel. God, we love those guys. I love that. Angeal's another one. I want more Angeel, personally, but I don't know if we'll get that. Okay, next, he also admitted after nearly a decade dedicated to this project, he personally would prefer a new creator rather than, to support a new creator rather than take on another large-scale remake himself. Because I've used up all this time into producing this remake of FF7, should I be the one to undertake remaking another series? So rather than myself heading another remake project, I would rather see maybe a new creator come in and put myself in the support section to sort of cheer him on, rather than being the one to head a new remake project. I'm sure, like, this is like the dude's life work, you know? I would feel. Gosh, I would love to ask him some questions about that. That's just so, I love that. Yeah. When we commented, it's interesting that a lot of game creators, or at least in Square Enix, their favorite FF is Final Fantasy VI. Hamaguchi reflected on changing times. He said, so recently, because the company's been growing and changing, as new employees come in and the company keeps growing. The younger folk who come in don't say Final Fantasy VI anymore. They say, oh yeah, Final Fantasy XIII was my favorite. So I do feel the passing of the ages. Now, I saw a little bit of a translation furor on Twitter earlier today, where there was a mistranslation saying that current employees talked about how Final Fantasy XIII is currently their favorite Final Fantasy title, but this definitely puts it in the past here. So like growing up, Final Fantasy XIII was their favorite title, similar to how people might say when they were young, Final Fantasy VI was their favorite title. So that's kind of an interesting sort of thing. You know, I'll always say that our favorite Final Fantasy oftentimes, not always, corresponds to the most memorable ones we play as children. So for me, warts and all, 4 and 6, 4 especially, will always be in my top 5. Like, you can never take 4 out of my top 5. 6, obviously, I adore. But, yeah. It was basically more joking, like, well, some of them say Final Fantasy 13 now, so I'm getting old. Yeah, I think that's part of it, too. Like, an aging demographic is going to have an older one as well. So, yeah. Dark Horse answers, you like Omega from Dirge. Yeah, we need more Dirge stuff. Unfortunately, we're getting that with Vice and Nero at the very least, so that's good. Okay, let's keep going. I feel like the passing of the ages. Maybe Hamaguchi's having a midlife crisis right now. He's just feeling old. Lessons from a decade long. What are your lessons, brother? He reflects, first and foremost, not just limited to Square Enix, but even other companies undertaking such a big project, it requires a measure of resolve. He emphasized that few studios could commit to a project of this scale, so it's very difficult to even propose a project of this scale. I cannot imagine. I don't think that we will have another project of this scale. So, yikes. As the trilogy nears its conclusion, his focus has expanded beyond longtime fans. Now we're not just delivering this title to the existing fan base of Final Fantasy VII. What we want to do now is see how many new players we can deliver it to as an experience. And that goes straight to what they're doing right now with the Switch 2's release of Final Fantasy VII Remake on January 22nd. And then probably they were already talking about releasing Rebirth on all consoles as well. Switch 2 release of that, Xbox release of that. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. And so they are trying to break out of just the Final Fantasy VII fans. And I think that it's going to be a much easier sale. Why did I say sale? Alabama. A much easier sell to newcomers when you say, here's the complete game. It will be it's a trilogy, but you can get it in this one pack, right? When you're able to say, here's the beginning, the middle, and the end, go for it. Yeah. I really do think that's when the true marketing of this game could really begin. Especially if they stick the landing with the old fans, then new. I don't know. Like, if you remember right, even though it didn't win like Game of the Year, Rebirth got so much attention at the Game Awards and was lauded with so many awards. Despite missing Game of the Year, it won so many different awards from different award shows. Eyes were on Rebirth. And so there's already a curiosity. And I know people in real life that are like, I'll wait until the whole thing's finished because I want to see if it's worthwhile to finish. There are people that are like that. I've got a buddy who reads spoilers for any show that he watches before he watches it because he wants to know, is it worth my time? We live in a strange time economy right now, and gamers are guilty of that as anybody. So I get that. There's too many games, too little time. So, okay. He continues, 6-disc Final Fantasy X. Oh my gosh, probably. A successful remake cannot be reduced to a formula. It's not on me to define what makes a good remake project. Instead, he believes success comes from understanding the original strengths and building on them. At the end of the day, what can we do to make players happy? That's tough. What's up, Elias? How you doing? That's great. It blows my mind. Like, I like make fun of my friend all the time because I'm like, dude, enjoy the roller coaster, but you know, he doesn't like that anxiety. So I get it. See, that's what's fun for me. And that's why this entire year is going to be dedicated to the fun of that conversation. Like a year of Final Fantasy Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's what I'm calling it. That's it. Depends on how the whole Whisper subplot is handled. I think that a lot of people that dropped off after Remake, if fans and players say, hey, you know what? They somehow pulled off the Whispers thing. I didn't like them in the first 2 games, but it somehow pulled off really well, and it really satisfied me. If they're able to do that, people that dropped off at Remake, I believe, will return. That is the task before them, because I know that I am absolutely on the... I'm the minority. Because I've liked the Whispers from day one, but I have other exterior reasons for liking the Whispers that have nothing to do with the game. It has all to do with predestination Calvinistic theology, of which I am a scholar, okay? Like, I was like, oh, I know this theology. Let me talk about it. And it's what made this channel to some degree. So I love that stuff. But if I'm concerned about the story of Final Fantasy VII, then Whispers are very concerning. If they pull that off, they come back. The fans that have lapsed will come back. I believe it. Now, the ones that are like, no, Final Fantasy VII should stay polygons, like, 15 frames per second and like turn-based, like they're never coming back. They're gone. So, yeah, the FF7 Dreamake, that's what we're calling it. That's the year of Dreamakes. Nobody has to change the title again. I'm telling you, make it trend. Prof's Final Fantasy VII Remake year. That's what it is. Okay, let's finish up this interview and play some Dragon Quest. When the conversation turned toward the relationship with Claire Obscura, the man can't escape it, Like, the man cannot escape it. I'm happy for it, though. I love these things. So in terms of my relationship with the Claire Obscura developers, we have a very good relation. Bonds, you might even say. When they were in Japan, I would see them, and then in Paris, they came to see me. So it's a mutually respectful relationship. I'm glad we built this relationship. And their answer was to make plot ghosts that arguably represent the fan base that just want a normal remake. If that is what it ends up being, Christian Lopez, that is completely insufficient. But if it is a creative way for the live stream to be represented and personified and characterized that makes sense with the way the live stream works, then I'm happy with that. If it's about the voices of the planet personified, if it's about the Cetra personified, even in their extinction, I'm okay with that. But if it is something meta like you described, that is trash. Okay, and I hate that. I know that that's a reading of it, and I appreciate the reading and interpretation of it, but if that's what the developers are doing, I freaking hate that. I'll be real honest. Suddenly I'm not proftimistic. I'm antagonistic. But, okay, let's keep going. I keep saying keep going, then I get sidetracked. Y'all are just so good. This is what my class does. They get me off track, and then I have to change my syllabus. Ugh. It's true on chat as in classroom. Okay, let's keep going. So we love Claire Obscura. When I talked with them, a very interesting story came up, recounting about how the Claire Obscura director spoke about leaving a large studio environment, Ubisoft, to pursue a more compact, focused development approach. The idea of framing games as AA rather than competing directly with blockbuster productions resonated with Hamaguchi-san, not as a hierarchy, but as a statement about creative intent. So Guillemot, I don't know if I'm saying, Broche, I'm not French, started in UB, so when he was in UB and the development budget got bigger, he thought to himself how they can make something more unique, but maybe a smaller, more compact budget or team, right? So that's why he sort of became independent and started and made this, what he calls a AA game. I like this. I like the idea of developers making smaller scale but still very wonderful, polished games. If 2025 has taught me anything, it is that we crave creative limitations because that's where creativity thrives. We crave stories that have the budgetary and the oversight limitations so that creativity can really begin to solve some new problems. We see it with Claire Obscura. We see it with Heated Rivalry, most recently the gay hockey show. Like, I freaking love these smaller scale things that are knocking it out of the park. And I hope that in 2026 and beyond, we see up and coming developers put AAA studios to shame more and more and more. Because number one, it's better for the development cycle. Number two, it's better for the developers themselves. And number three, gamers win for a lower price point and for the actual product that they are receiving. So that's my 30-second take on that. We're never getting through this lecture. We're never getting through this interview. That's okay. When you go into either or, these simple choices, when you make one choice, you get rid of the other, he explained. In his view, debates such as action versus turn-based or AA versus AAA miss the point. Games are meant to be diverse. emphasizing different styles should evolve side by side rather than be positioned against each other. That brings me to another point. Not every game is for everybody. And we as a gaming culture have got to accept that. Some games are not for you. And some games are 10 out of 10 game of the year and you are going to hate them. You know why? Why I know that? I despise Baldur's Gate 3 with all of my heart. But you know what? I'll appreciate that it's a 10 out of 10 and it's a game of the year. I will absolutely appreciate it. Yeah. He said that Guillaume said their success was inevitably created this uncontrollable weaponizing of games against each other. Oh, did I miss that? Did I miss that reading? Oh, I think that I did. But it's not about Clair Obscur or Final Fantasy. It's about Clair Obscur and Final Fantasy. It's not either or, it's and. Oh. Was that written in here? Did I miss that? Interesting. So that must be in the long form video. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Why would the planet, Christian Lopez, that's a great question. Why would the planet allow the creation of a corporation that's trying to suck it dry? Excellent question. That's a theological question. And that is, it's pretty good. It kind of goes into the idea of the planet's offer of free will. That's actually really interesting. Chat, do you want a little lecture? Oh my gosh. This is not a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stream, but it kind of is turning into one. I'm going to give you like the quickest answer that I would give. Okay? And it's going to be rooted in what I teach at the University of Alabama, religious studies and all that stuff. So Christian Lopez asked a phenomenal question over on YouTube. The thing is that it doesn't make sense because why would the planet allow the creation of a corporation that's trying to suck it dry? Now, if we, for my religious studies purposes, were to replace the planet with the divine or a deity or God, there's a theological notion about this that is actually quite compelling. It is known as theodicy, Theodicy. Theodicy is the question of suffering in the world. Why does God allow bad things to happen? Why does God allow things that actually subvert God's good plan for the world? And one of the answers that we get into is this idea of choice and free will. And while people are living, it is part of the grand design of, quote, the planet or the divine to give people options, right? And while the divine is always trying to steer humanity toward the good, humanity may be going off course. And what the whispers try to do is manipulate the course so that it runs back toward the right. This is the pull of divine influence. In a non-deist sense, God doesn't spin the world into motion and hands off, but instead God tries to influence and impact and inspire people to do better. And some anthropologists would say this is the placement of the conscience or of discourse and coming to a resolution among people where our answers after discussion lead us to a bend of history that is brighter and more optimistic. That sort of thing. One of the thesis ideas that I'm not really doing anything with, but it is this idea of if this framework of the planet or theology is give people free will and they can do wonderful and terrible things, the question of Sephiroth comes in, who wants to, quote, deny destiny or defy destiny. A lot of the defiance of destiny talk comes from Sephiroth in Remake and even in Rebirth. And his eyes have been opened to the planet's allowance of suffering. And so what is he trying to do? Well, I think in some ways, and I think my friend Phil Hartshorn has said this better than I did about a year ago. He said What if Sephiroth is trying to bring about a different form where no one suffers? The problem is everyone kind of suffers under his will. He sees the planet as an untrustworthy will. And so we have to defy that destiny, defy that will, and impose a will where there is no suffering. And how is he doing this? By the creation of multiple worlds, where Aerith can have her dream date, where Zack is alive, where everybody is kind of getting their happy endings, but he's in control of it all. I mean, that's a far out there, far-fetched sort of thing, but I think from a theological standpoint, that is one of the issues that I hear in religious studies classes. I don't know exactly what that connects to with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but that's the way that I approach it. And when I say that they could pull off something cool with the Whispers, I'm chomping at the bit for them to do that, because then it turns into a second dissertation of research, right? Did I watch the new Sephiroth video by Steforwick? No, I've never even heard of it. So if you would tag me in the Discord with that video, maybe I'll react to it next week. I'd love to. Yeah, actually, that would be cool. If you've seen it, would that be a good one for me to react to? Do you think it'd be good? Because listen, this is the year of Final Fantasy VII Remake, so let's start including things like that into this, right? I cannot believe we've been going for so long and we haven't even played a game yet. And y'all are just hanging out like I'm worth listening to. That's nuts. Really wanted to make a joke about isn't the Odyssey, blah, blah, blah. There's always one. Oh, gosh. An upcoming Christopher Nolan film. Yeah. I'm proud of myself that I waited for you to finish. Yeah, I'm proud of you too. Okay. Put it in the Discord so that I can watch it. I'm not going to react to it tonight. We'll do it later. Yeah, there is a Discord. We'd love for you to join it. Amy, could you send Ninja-kun the Discord? Yep. Streamlabs is on it. No, Hash Brown Cloudy Guy's on it. Well done, everybody. Hopefully that's the right one. We've had some issues with bots in the Discord lately, but whatever. Okay, we're by live stream, going to finish this. Who started that? Over on YouTube. Christian Lopez, thank you for that question. It took me off on a great tangent. I don't know if it was great. It was fun for me. So, okay, good. Thank you, Amy. Let's finish this off. Imagining Final Fantasy VII through a Malaysian lens. What? Oh, I'm excited about this part. We may never get to Dragon Quest. By God, we're going to. Okay. We've then posed a lighter, more imaginative question. If one Final Fantasy VII character could visit Malaysia, who would enjoy the experience the most? It's Yuffie. Well, I mean, okay. Yuffie's background in Wutai and her familiarity with Asian-inspired culture, he felt like there was something deeper at play. He explained that even when traveling within Asia, he personally experiences a constant sense of novelty and discovery. That same feeling, he believes, would resonate with Yuffie's personality. That's cool. It's always kind of freshness. Okay, well, I really thought that we were going to go somewhere kind of cool with that. It was mildly neat. I like Yuffie, but feedback that left a lasting mark. Let's kind of skim this. So as someone who was in the 7 development, I had full confidence when I delivered the final product. This is a good product. Seeing strong reviews from both fans and media alongside continued sales momentum reinforced that belief. As a developer, honestly, felt really happy. That's great. Yeah, the Dragon Quest fans, listen, Dragon Quest fans, you get this. Oh, I didn't get my hero. Hang on, I'll get it for you. Dragon Quest fans, this is for you. We got him right here. This is for you. This is for you, friends. We got Hero right here. Oh, it was because the interview was in Malaysia. You're so smart. Oh my gosh. Anyway, look at that Hero. That's for you, Dragon Quest fans. We're just going to hold this up for a little bit. Okay. Okay, so next. Sephiroth waiting for Cloud to stop playing mini games at the Gold Saucer. Isn't that the truth? Oh, gosh. Have your fun while you can. A message to Southeast Asian fans. Oh, wait, hang on. I missed something. One comment, however, stood above the rest. While discussing the expanded world design of Rebirth, he recalled feedback from a player who said he felt more emotionally moved by the remake than by the original. I know a lot of people like that. The reaction validated one of the team's core goals. Rather than scaling the world down, they chose to scale it up, creating a more immersive interpretation of the original vision. Interpretation, key thing. For Hamaguchi-san, hearing that the remake deepened the emotional impact was especially meaningful. And finally, a message to Southeast Asian fans. This is my first time in Malaysia. Oh, there it is. If I just waited. And my first time seeing the fans on the ground, the passion fans showed, not only for Final Fantasy VII, but as a whole, left a strong impression on him. As the remake series project approaches its conclusion, he noted how encouraging it has been to see global enjoyment of the series. If you haven't played yet, he points to Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch 2. Whoa, is it going to be on the regular Nintendo Switch? What? I didn't realize that. Gosh, is it going to play like garbage on there? Anyway, Nintendo Switch 2, preferred system for that, over the Nintendo Switch. Please play it once you can. Sharing the world with 7 with as many players as possible remains the ultimate goal. That's a pretty darn good interview, I would say. I mean, it kept us busy. So, that's good. Well, chat, you didn't know you were going to be in for a Final Fantasy VII stream tonight. Anyway, it's time to go to Dragon Quest. Everybody, look at this bad boy right here. Isn't that cool? I thought it was only Switch 2 too. That feels like it should be bigger news. Maybe that's a mistranslation. I don't think it's available for Switch 1. That's crazy. But see, in that interview, it says Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think that's gotta be a misprint, mistranslation. Yeah, I didn't think it was. That's nuts. Just got your Switch 2 on Tuesday, so congratulations. Welcome to the fold, brother. Oh my gosh, I freaking love it. It's time for some Dragon Quest, everybody. We can still keep talking about Final Fantasy VII because it's the year of the Dreamake, so we're going to keep doing that. But the live stream is composed of many driving wheels, it seems. I have a video coming out on that one day. One day. I'm changing the format of my video essays. But that's a conversation for another day. Okay, let's get into Dragon Quest. Dun da 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 da. Wrong one. There it is. Mario Kart World, brother. Oh my gosh, my man. Kind of stoked for the boosters for the remake. Already done it the hard way. Looking forward to a breezy playthrough. Listen, yes. That one, what is it? The boosters. I played through the demo with it, and I was like, okay, this is good. This is just fun. If I just want to blaze through the story, this is fun. Every hit, 9999. The Dreamimagining. Happy New Year, Mama! Hope you're doing great. Happy New Year. I am. I'm glad to be back. Make sure you check us out next week, too, with some more Final Fantasy VII stuff. Got your, Final Fantasy VII Reimagined. Yeah, so DGC in the Switch version, actually in I think all the versions now. I think they updated it. You can boost your characters to level like 45 from the outset, and you can make it so your characters don't die, all that stuff. It's good. It's good for a certain type of player. I'll say that. But it's fun. It's fun to just go in and be OP. Oh my gosh, I'm just seeing your resub message. Can you imagine if FF13 starred Leon Kennedy? That's hilarious. That'd be funny. All right, let's get into this. I'm the newest Dragon Quest fan, and this is my first time experiencing Dragon Quest VII. Let's begin with the demo. Venture Forth. Oh, do I get to name myself? I want to use that one. Should I name myself Prof or Wade? Level minus 50 start, honestly. That's like my level 1 Final Fantasy 15 playthrough. That was fun. Let's name ourselves Wade because that's my real name. Now you know that if you didn't. Okay, I am happy with the name Wade. It's the one my parents gave me. I found it interesting where Glenn's story has gone. If anything, he's added a new tie for Sephiroth. I'm excited about the Glenn stuff. Character style is starting to grow on you. Good. Why not begin by adjusting various settings? Okay. Let's do English. And let's do happy medium. I'm okay with that. Oh, no, I want the normal. Okay. These are not the settings that I care about. I care about battle speed. I love DQ 1, 2, 3, and I really enjoyed 12. So, first time playing 7. Let's see.
We all set? Aye,
I think there's an echo. Let me fix that for you. There you go. Oh, we're going in a cave.
Right. That's enough for one day. Time for me to head back to the castle. Now then, how do we get out of here?
Are we in a well?
Of course. Here we are. You push that side, all right? And remember, not a word about this place to anyone. Even my father doesn't know about it. There's more to the world than this island, and we're going to prove it. Okay.
Oh, 11. I'm in 11.
2,
Sorry.
3.
Wouldn't that be a crazy drop if I was like, I'm going to secretly play in 12? No, absolutely not. Square Enix ninjas would swoop in.
So that's how it's going to be, is it? You're still not going to tell me what you're up to?
Maribel, don't you take that tone with me. No.
Huh? So you're not...
I'm not going to tell you.
I don't care anyway, because I'm not going to waste my breath asking you again. But you haven't heard the last of this. I'm going to find out what you're plotting, and I'm going to tell everyone. So there. I almost forgot. Tomorrow's the day of the pilchard harvest. I'd better be getting off to bed. And so had you. It only comes round once a year, you know. See you later, Mr. Mysterious.
Let me increase the size of this for you guys. I don't know why it's so small for you. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That's switch framing. But we are letterboxed. Okay. Have y'all played this demo yet? Walk around ZR while moving. Ooh, this is neat. Oh, I am running. Oh. There's nobody around to talk to right now. That's sad. I love this art style. Oh, this is so cool. I love that they called it a reimagining. Square Enix learned. Oh! Zelda. Boom. Go in somewhere, start busting up pots, barrels. Oh, Kuya streamed it? Oh, man. I should have hopped in. This was the first week back to school. I haven't been able to do anything. You're a couple hours in. You're a couple hours? How long is this demo? What? Haven't finished the demo. Holy crap. Loot. Got to get some sleep. Ninji, thank you so much for being a part. Thank you for your contributions to the discussion. You were great. Hope you have a great night. Bye. Thanks for being here. Oh. Well, I'm going to church. Take me to church. Your poor mother will be worried about you. Hello. You're back again to ask me what lies beyond the ocean. Yes. Only natural for a young man to be curious. I was the same when I was your age. Paddled off in a little boat. I've never played a Dragon Quest demo before. It can make you feel lonely sometimes, but that's just the way things are. I guess that puts an end to my daydreaming. You talk to every NPC. Look at him just running. Do 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 do. Knock knock. I know it's the middle of the night, but everybody wake up. I just started my game. Did he pet that cat? Can I zoom in? I want to see this. I want to see this game. That would be my biggest feedback so far. I want to zoom in. Boarding the boat without permission is a serious breach of etiquette in Pilchard Bay. Well, that's okay. I see something up there. First, I gotta break that pot. Okay. Whoa, how do I get up there? Oh, the stairs. Duh. Change the camera. 2 gold coins. DQ8 had an FF12 demo in it? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I just think of all the years I could have been a Dragon Quest fan. This is the first year I've started as a Dragon Quest fan. It really wasn't until I played 3, then 1 and 2 that I was like, okay, I get it. I'm in. I liked 3. 1 and 2, I was like, okay. Oh, that's the same cat. Okay, I guess we'll go to where it wants us. Let's RP walk. Oh. They must be having a fight. They're not sleeping in the same bed. We're going to steal from Mama and Papa. She's sleeping. It's Wade's mother, Pearl. Wade, is that you? It's time for bed. Up that ladder. You need to be up bright and early. It's Wade's father, Pollock. Pollock and Pearl. Good time to start a DQ obsession. 30th anniversary. Good to know. Anything else I can attack in here? They're going to wake up and be like, what did you do with all of our storage? Hello? Oh no, I'm not ready to turn in. I got to explore my bedroom. The Wayfarer's clothes. I want to wear those. Oh, look at him. Look at my little man. Look at my little man here. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. He looks so good. Have y'all seen the models that they used for these? Like the little, I think clay models, clay statues. Gosh, what a game. We're going to wear our Wayfarer clothes. Oh man, it doesn't change my outfit. That's okay. Cypress stick. I'm such a hero. Look at me. Check the bedside first. Well, nothing in there. Okay, time for bed. I wish I had like a shelf right here so that he could just sit on my shoulder.
Wakey, wakey, young man.
Wakey,
You
wakey.
can't stay in bed all
Eggs
morning.
and bakey. Okay.
It's the most important day of the year in Pilchard Bay. The day of the Pilchard harvest.
Well, we've all been waiting for it, so.
Your father is already headed over to meet Mayor Maid by the jetty. Now get up and get yourself ready. Come on, chop chop.
This sweet little boy. Somebody.
All set? It wouldn't do for a fisherman's son to sleep in, you know.
I'm the son of a fisherman?
Head down to the jetty this instant. Your father needs your help.
I come from a real family of fishermen.
Oh, before you go,
You gonna give me a pie?
take this to your father, will you?
Oh, you're gonna give Dad a pie.
You know how he likes his pilchards.
Or a sandwich. Chat, what's a pilchard?
Well, off you go now. Take that sandwich down to the ship and make sure he gets it.
Okay. Yes, Mum. Good night, Mum. I've never played Golden Sun, no. Is it good? Do you like it? Catchy. Welcome to the item shop. I ain't got no money. I need to get a job or an allowance at this age. I'm not normally even up by this time, but this morning I walked all the way from Estard. Well, a spot of exercise every now and then never hurt anyone. Gains 4 games, baby. A remake of Golden Sun? Oh man, maybe I should try it. So many games. Trails in the Sky and Golden Sun now. Hey you, you're a local lad. You want to be a fisherman when you grow up, right? I mean, I have no choice. I come from a line of fishermen. My father was a fisherman, and his father before him. You're off to help your dad, I warrant. My own son's been taking the helm this year. Ooh, I couldn't be prouder. We owe your father a lot, you know. Pollock's the greatest fisherman this village has ever seen. It's fine, I'm gonna steal from you. Can't wait to see what weird and wonderful fish they bring back this year. My tummy's rumbly. Well, sorry, old people. I'm taking your inheritance. Well, I'll be back for that inheritance. But that'll make up for it. You tried to lock away your possessions? Well, I'm robbing you blind, because I got some cookies to buy. Trails in the Sky is really great too. Okay. Demo. Oh, it has a demo? Okay. I need to try that. Hello.
Oh,
Pilchards are fish. Well, that makes sense in this fishing village. A very own seaside paradise. Oh, sorry, Wade. It's the pilchard harvest. Oh, so I gotta help haul off the fish from the boat. Like Jesus and the fisherman. Okay, let's do it. Take me to church. Can I get in the water? No, but I get my feet wet. You know, Wade, your father and the other fishermen are real heroes. I say this every year, but I wish I'd marry a fisherman when I had the chance. That sounds like drama. Sardines? Ugh, who wants a sardine sandwich? Wonder how long they'll be out this year. I just pray that my dear hubby and his shipmates make it back in one piece. I bet something's gonna go wrong. Hello, cat. Bless. You all seem rich. I bet you hide money in pots or barrels. Oh no, just herbs. That's probably why you're rich. You don't put your money in barrels. I say, it's Wade. A very good morning to you, young man. You'll be ably assisting your father today. You like sardines? Okay. Well, I don't have the stomach for them, I'm afraid. I was made to be a maid, and I get paid to be a maid. I pray my looks will never fade. I like to think that she's a rapper. Oh, what are you doing here, Wade? If you're looking for Maribel, I'm afraid you're out of luck. Oh, Maribel's rich. That makes sense why she's terrible. That is a great model ship. Is this Maribel's room? Did you go through my bedroom? Did you read my diary? Did you go through my drawers? Leather hat? Stole leather. I know. Tifa would be so sad if I was doing this. Now you're allergic? Sees a very tired reflection. You just woke up, brother. Okay. Yay. Okay, bye, cat. Oh, to sail the seas in a mighty ship like Captain Pollock. Oh my gosh, a Benadryl. I've never heard of a sardine allergy. Chrono. You get it. It means it's festival time. Great granddad. Hey, sailor. Achoo. God, that's no good. Sailors should be saying ahoy, not achoo. Came from Bloomin' Estard to train to be a fisherman, but instead of catching fish, went caught this bloomin' cold. I'm a disgrace. Well, be best.
I respect your opinion, Pollock, but I don't see why we can't just head to the usual fishing spot.
When the ocean tells me something, I have to listen. I've been studying the currents and tides, and we need to cast our nets elsewhere this year. A fisherman's job is to follow the fish. Where they go, we go. End of story.
Pollock does not skip chest day. Good lord, look at those rippling pectorals on this man.
You're not wrong, but the thing is... Oh, look who's
Oh my
here.
gosh, I'm
You
jealous
come
of
to
that
give
man's
your
chest
father
size.
a hand, I take it?
Holy moly.
You took your time, my lad.
Good lord!
Are you ready to actually do some work for a change? Oh, the first things first. Please tell me you brought me one of your mother's sandwiches.
Dude, you need to lay off the
Famished.
protein. RFK would be so proud of you. Do you see what I see? That is a rippling chest. As a man that did bench press earlier today, I am so impressed.
That's the stuff. There's nothing like pilchards in the morning. I can't set sail without one of these in my belly.
Chrono Drifter, you have just spoken my love language. This father-son duo reminds you of How to Train a Dragon. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I saw the live-action remake last year. I'd never seen the original. And dude, wow. Wow. I teared up 3 times. It was so good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. Stop staring at me like that.
Lad. You put me off my pilchards. You want to swab the decks or something?
The live action was so good. And let me tell you this. I saw the stage show at Epic Universe in Universal Studios. Holy crap. That was awesome. That was really good. I agree. Like, it was the standard bearer for live actions. Disney should take note, to be honest. Y'all, this is a cozy art style. I've heard the animated one's really good too. I love the live action, but I also don't have anything to compare it to. Listen, I've enjoyed talking to you guys, but I see some barrels over here, and I have this compulsion to break all barrels at all times. I'm gonna go below deck. Listen, Epic Universe is so epic. Maribel, what are you doing amidst all of these barrels?
Yes?
Looks like I caught me a stowaway. Nah, I found her. Please, did I mention how tasty your stew is? Really? You'll have to tell me the recipe someday. Flattery will get you nowhere, young lady, and it certainly won't get you passage on this ship. Now get out of here before I tell your father what you've been up to. As for you, young man, I got a pile of potatoes that need peeling. Oh, man. This is all your fault. I hate you. Plus, it's not fair. One day you'll get to jump on a boat and leave this stupid island behind, at least for a little while. I know all the grown-ups say there's nothing out there except more ocean, but they're lying to us. I know it. I'll get you for this. I'll tell everyone where you and Prince Kiefer have been sneaking off to. Who's Prince Kiefer? That girl's got a problem. I'm so mad I'm gonna break some barrels. $50 gold coins. What's odd is that I could open that red chest. Set of rags. Hello. I hear we're heading further north than we've ever been before. Okay. Do you have any idea what I'm going through? No. Of course you don't. Newly married, leaving my beautiful bride behind? That's so sad. No one could ever understand my heartache and pain. From Pilchard Bay to Estard Castle, everybody's heard of that mighty Pollock. Should be proud to have such a famous fisherman for a father. I know, I'm living in the shadow. His brother's just as famous. Listen to me. Doesn't do well to speak ill of others. Forget I said anything. Oh, I know. Okay, you. All sorts of things happen at the sea. Oh, man. Chef. Oh, it's time to peel some potatoes. Yeah, Maribel's not my friend anymore. I love, like, he's not checking the pots. He is straight up breaking them. I like his spirit. Spirit of Hyrule.
No.
Father. No more than a codling. You'd be more of a burden than a help. Dad, don't say that. Those are the sort of things that come up in therapy. Don't be sore now. Keep up the good work and you'll get there in the end. I know you'll make a fine fisherman one day. You're my flesh and blood after all. Grahaha. In the meantime, you're a very important job to keep. You've a very important job to keep. You're busy. Oh, you be chat. Whoa. Looking after your mother. Keep the old girl safe while I'm away. You hear? And I won't tell her you called her the old girl.
Now.
Weigh anchor. Hoist the mainsail. Love it. That was very epic. This is going to be such a cozy, sweet game. Look at all those pilchards. Ah, there you are.
Thanks.
Who are you? The king requests an audience with me? To the castle. Well, good thing I've stolen about 15 gold coins. That way I can feel rich. You got summoned to the castle again, lucky old you. Well, guess what? I'm coming too. Is that alright? No. You're not coming with me. Listen, Buster, you got me thrown off the ship back there. You owe me. Alright, let's get moving, shall we? She is not going to be my love companion. Oh, you can chat with your friends?
Hey!
I'm sure I don't need to remind you. It's just to tell me what I'm doing. Maribel, the first rule of journeying with me is we break every jar. And barrel sometimes. Stick with me? Oh, is she gonna fight with me? Just look for the orange symbol. You know I don't like mini maps. Can I equip her? No, I can't. Maribel, does the leather hat look familiar to you? It should. I took it from your bedroom. Okay, where do I need to go? Okay. Oh, up there, northwest. Come on, girlie. Let's run. Oh my gosh, the world map is so cool. This is so cool.
Oh.
What a slog that was. It was 30 seconds. I've got places to be. See you around. That girl's gonna be the death of me. Hey y'all, what's in the well? This place would be perfect if it wasn't for two things. First is Pike. That ne'er-do-well lives northeast of town, the other's Prince Kiefer. Oh, am I about to get in trouble with the king because I've been playing with Prince Kiefer? Lady, I'm a kind of grown boy. Don't lecture me. I don't like to gossip, but it sure seems Prince Kiefer's been mixed up in some dicey stuff recently. Oh yeah, this king meeting is definitely about me. I'm the bad seed. Probably because I steal and rob everybody blind. Break their pots. Hello. Oh, speaking of bad seeds. You're Pike's nephew, aren't you? Yeah. Right, then I suppose I better tell you, he's just got a massive Barney with his landlord. I mean, I know they're always squabbling, but this feels different. Okay. I know I've made some bad decisions in my time, but I ain't no liar. This latest find's the real deal, I swear. It's called the Sizzling Stone, and it's worth enough to cover all them bills I keep forgetting to pay, and then some. Come on, you've got to believe me. No one's fool enough to take a non-existent item as payment. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I did have it right in my mitts. The Sizzling Stone itself. Took it with me everywhere. The bath, the bog. Oh, honestly, I've had quite enough of this. Oh, Wade, good to see you. Perhaps you could talk some sense into this idiot. Perhaps you would have a word with your uncle. Wow. Hello, Wade. Caught me at a bad time. What a charming little game this is. Oh, what's upstairs? I need to go. This is just delightful. Dragon Quest teams have been firing off, haven't they? This is some drawers. Chimera Wing. His hair's grown very long. Look at me stealing from the hotel. Ooh, chat, I'm not long for this world. I'm getting sleepy. So obviously we're not finishing the demo tonight, I'll tell you that, but that's okay. I'll talk to the king and then I'll probably go to sleepy sleep. Oh. Oh wait, what am I even doing? I should have changed our thing to Dragon Quest. It's a little late now, but still. Nevertheless, updated. Hello. Welcome to the local shop. No, I've already got some of those. I took them from the old people. Yeah, I'm about to go. I'm about to go sleepy sleep too, Angelus. Glad to talk Final Fantasy this week. See you next week. We'll do it more. See you, brother. Brother, I get it. And I've been lecturing all day long. Tuesdays and Thursdays may not be my best choices anymore, but for the sake of you guys. Yeah, your boy is getting so sleepy. They don't make them like they used to. That's okay. We all forgot. We're just vibing tonight. That's fine. Where's the freaking church? Excuse me. Where's the holy church? Found it. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I need to go to bed. Also, I'm waking up at 5 in the morning, so like everything is as the Almighty wants it to be. What a wonderful note to end on. So I've managed to live another year, have I? I have a lot to thank the Almighty for. You young folks mustn't go rampaging around the island, poking your noses into places they don't belong. The forest, the ocean, the ancient ruins, everything here is just as the Almighty wants it to be. After all, this is the only island in the whole world. It's a very special place. Boy, she's gonna have a deconstruction in this game, I feel like. We're gonna remember that face of Grandma here. I love that. Do you think the Almighty really exists? Where do you think he lives? Is he up in the clouds looking down? Question. Man, the world of my theology right here. So good. And then you go to the church to get saved. How about that? So funny. Boom. What a charming little game this is. I freaking love this. How delightful. Well, I think I am going to call it. Actually, I know I didn't play very much tonight, but we talked a lot about a lot of things, so. Let me swap over so I can say a proper goodbye to you all. Chat, this has been so fun. I feel like we did a lot of nothing and a lot all at once. So it was fun, but it's always fun being with you. So remember, next week we'll be doing some more Final Fantasy VII stuff and just in the year of the remake. So it's going to be good times. With that, everybody, I hope you have a terrific night, a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday. With that, Bartol, my friends, have a good night. Bye. Ooh, that was abrupt.